Hi, Christina here. Welcome back to the Strategies for Small Businesses Message Marketing series. In our last podcast, we introduced message marketing. Just to do a quick recap, message marketing is marketing using any of the messaging tools available to you. The most common four are emailing, social media messaging, text messaging, and direct mailing. In the next few podcasts, I'll be breaking down these different tools and sharing tips and best practices you should be using in all of your marketing efforts in order to achieve the best results. Probably the most familiar messaging marketing tool is email. One way or another, we have all been exposed to email and have been for several years. Even kids are getting emails now, most of them throughout their going to school online and things like that. Currently, it has been recorded that there are 4.6 billion email users around the world, and that is expected to continue to increase every single year. Email is consistently the most used messaging tool around, whether it's marketing through your work, through your business, communicating with friends, all of that. Email is where people are always going to be. Email is used by marketers for different reasons throughout marketing funnels. They start with emails, usually generating leads. They might be doing a joint venture with somebody and being introduced with that person's group of people and that person's database. Well, that person sent out an email to drive them to whatever event you guys are doing. And that creates a new set of leads for you. So that's how you would start with email there. But understand, some people have been purchasing leads and doing cold emailing, and that's not recommended at all. In fact, that could really damage your business and your email domain reputation and stop you from successfully marketing later. So don't purchase leads if at all possible. Communicating with your current database is another way we use email. So you might be sharing special offers and communicating something that's coming up, that's going around, or that you would like them to participate in, whether it be an event, purchase a new product, or sharing that. Nurturing your current database, different from communicating with them, is solely spent around sharing informative, useful content and doesn't have anything to do with sales. Again, utilizes email to get that information out to a large group of people at the same time. One of the most common questions I get is email still effective with all these other current messages, ways to get messages out, especially with social media in play? And the answer is absolutely yes. Research, it still shows that email is the most effective method to reach people, and the ROI, return on investment, is the highest with email marketing based on every other platform. Even though text message is instant and all that, and we'll talk about it later, and that has an open rate higher, the actual sales and stuff usually generate from emails is higher. One thing to remember in your email marketing is to constantly balance out that 80-20 rule. 80% of your emails that you send out should be content and 20% sales. This way, you're supplying your database, your community, your tribe with informative, usable content, and they're going to want to open your emails and see what you're sharing next in the next one. You probably have somebody that you're connected with that sends out emails that you're like, ooh, what are they saying today? What are they talking about? What do they have? And you want to get to their message in that inbox. So in doing that, you want to become that person to your database with your emails. As you increase your copywriting skills, there are really great ways to share your content and offer that little special tool at the end. So you would be saying something like, hey, did you know if you do this, this, and this, then you can do that? And then you're like, oh, bright idea. They're like thinking, and you've taught them something. You say, if you want to know more about this, click here. So you're not really pushing them to buy something. You have taught them something, but you also are giving them the opportunity to expand their horizons in a gentle way. That's really important. Them being able to take away golden nuggets from your emails is solid and will help you increase your reputation with that database. When you're structuring your emails and your plans and your contact messages, it's important to keep in mind that the average person receives over 100 emails per day. So you need to find ways to make your messages stand out to your readers so that they want to look for you. We just spoke about that. They want to know what you're saying. They want to see what's there, what you're talking about, because you've become an important advisor or mentor or fun person to watch what you're communicating. So it's really important to keep that while you're going. Your message marketing reputation is key. By making sure you educate your audience about who you are, what they can expect and learn from you, and how often they can expect to hear from you at the start of them joining your community is imperative. That goes back to the nurture sequence in doing an onboarding and an indoctrination, because then they know what to expect and then they already feel like you're a friend. You want to make sure your subject lines pique interest, right? But you also want to be sure that your subject lines aren't like misleading. Some email marketing platforms allow you to include a subline. So there'll be the subject line and then right below is kind of like a teaser line. You want to make sure you always fill those out, because in people's inboxes, when they receive an email, it kind of reads the first line of the email that you have put in there and to a summary. And sometimes that's boring. Dear so-and-so, did you know walking down the street? It's like, okay, that really doesn't have anything to do. But if you could put a teaser line in there, that's what shows up in that subject summary. And that really helps capture their attention. There's another way to capture attentions, and that's just to really be spot on. Another question prospects ask me is, how many emails should I be sending? The answer is different based on a few metrics. What type of business do you have? What can you be consistent with in your sending emails? And what content are you sharing? So let me explain. The type of business, like a brick and mortar business that is offering a product, a hard thing, you want people to be coming into your place of business. Restaurants fall into this as well. They're usually based on special offers. They're looking to drive traffic to come into their facility. They're not so much in educating, but into bringing them to their actual physical location. And in order to do that, they're going to want to be sending special offers like, hey, did you know this week this sofa is on sale? Or, hey, restaurant, this is our weekly special today. Come in and check us out. Those are suggested to go out, usually once a month as you're building your audience and what to expect. If it's a restaurant and you do weekly specials and people have signed up to be on your list, you can do them weekly and they know to expect that. For online marketers offering a service or a product or a program, it's a little bit different. You are going to be held to that really strong 80-20 content sales kind of rule, and you'll want to make sure that you're doing it. So you want to send out content emails no less than twice a month, just pure content emails. And sales offer and a sales, you want to start out with maybe once a month or maybe the other 2 weeks. So you're sending something every week and they know and what to expect. Sometimes it's better to odd set your messages. So content goes at 11 o'clock in the morning where sales emails go at like 2 in the afternoon. And that way, your community may not see that trend, but you and building your funnels and stuff, you're not overstepping messages. So anything in your indoctrination would go out in the morning, but any sales would go out in the evening or early evening. And that way they get content and they would get a sales and you're still feeding them. Oh, goodness. When designing your email messages, you have to avoid spam triggers. These are huge. written in there. There are things that are found written in your emails, and that the actual email providers that you're shipping to and sending to, so Gmail, Yahoo, custom domains, they'll have their own. So like if you were sending to my business, my business email address is a custom domain. Those email catchers, those inboxes, have spam trigger filters that they put every email that's coming in through, and they decide whether it should be delivered or not. You want to really make sure that you're avoiding these, because you want to end up in their inbox. That's the whole point. So what to avoid in spam triggers are overpromises, manipulative verbiage. You don't want to be like, oh, here's something for $10,000 value and it's only $5. You don't want to sound needy or desperate in your emails. You don't want to sound pushy in your emails. You don't want to have questionable statements in your emails. Too many images in your emails could be a spam filter as well, or a spam trigger that hits their filters. It's really hard to judge because the algorithms change, but you just follow these simple, short rules to begin with, and you're going to be pretty good. Avoid using the word free in your emails or in your subject line. That is absolutely one of the first metrics that came in, and you'll see some people used to do F.REE, which would trick the trigger filters from reading that it was the word free. Well, they've come on to that, so that doesn't work anymore either. You just want to be honest. You don't want to be too heavy on exaggeration and punctuations like exclamation marks or all capital letters too much. You don't want anything that's going to look odd than a regular communication between people. In subject lines, like I said, avoid all caps. Too many exclamation marks in there as well. They will trigger that filter. You want to also work to where your subject lines relate to your content, because you don't want to have something that's like, oh, the snappy subject line, and the person that's your reader and part of your community goes, oh, and they go to read it, and it's like has nothing to do with it. You will find out that they will lose confidence in you. You want to make sure another thing to avoid is you want to make sure that you're not using your personal inbox to send marketing emails or nurturing emails out to your audience. Not only are you sending abilities limited by how many you can put in the to or the BCC line, you're also limited to how many you can send a day or week. And when I say your personal email, I'm really talking about things like if you use a Gmail, if you use a Yahoo, a Hotmail, any of those kind of free email accounts, you want to avoid using those for any of your marketing messages, because again, that's one of the filters. If there's too many coming from that, they judge it and they'll stop. If you have a business, you should own your domain. And in owning your domain, you can set up a business email that would be Christina at business name. So mine is Christina at strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com. That is appropriate. They know they can relate to that person. They can go there. The filters register that there's a domain. There's somebody who's invested into this. So they kind of tend to, that's your first checkoff. So best practices are to always send an email from a custom domain. And if you have problems with knowing whether you can do that in what you have, just let us know. One of the other things to remember that is a spam filter, or what we call spam traps, is that you have support at, and that's what you're going to mark it at. So, hey, I'm sending it from my domain, right, from my business name, support at strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com, but the spam triggers go, support is a generic. That's not a human relationship. So you want to make sure it's a name. If you don't want everything coming from your personal name, so like for me, Christina at strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com, I would do something like Christina parentheses CLW at strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com, or you could do your first name, last name, no spaces, at, and your business name. And this could be a separate inbox. What that helps with is, one, they know it's human. Your readers know your name, who you are. They see it coming into their inbox. Also, it can go into a different inbox where you can say, I'm going to check business emails over here for marketing and see if there's any replies to a message you put out, or if there's anything that you need to take care of in there. And it makes it easier for a team member, when you're at that point, maybe you're there now, to be able to check and monitor those. And we call those like the support emails, because somebody replies back to it and says, hey, I have a question on this offer, or hey, I missed this deadline. Can I have help? It goes into this where they get support, and it doesn't get lost in your regular inbox. Oh, lots of information today. So remember, email marketing is the top marketing tool for the results that you're looking for. Make sure you're using it. Make sure you're using it properly. Don't end up in the spam filters, and do what you can. There are many, many marketing or email marketing platforms out there that you can choose from. Go from free to a paid, and then more intense into full marketing capabilities. So such as like MailChimp. MailChimp, you can get a free account up to so many people in your database. Use it. It's awesome. It gets you familiar. It gets you started. It gets you going. There's paid plans like with Aweber. Aweber has a great reputation. They're very protective over their servers and sending emails. So like you can't import a list. You have to verify that list. You have to set up double opt-in when you're building in your things, where when you're building your lead generations. So when somebody opts in, then they'll get an email that says, hey, you just opted into so-and-so's. Do you want to receive information? Click here. They confirm it. That is one of the best things on your list, is have a confirmed email address. So Aweber is good, but they do cost. And then full marketing systems such as Keep Infusionsoft, which is something that I love, I'm proficient with, I use often with clients. There's different levels you could join in it, so it could be cost effective for you. But no matter whether it's free to get started and working your way into different paid plans, you have to get started in a structured email marketing system. And I recommend those 3. There are key points to looking at each one and evaluating which one would actually support your business and your upcoming growth that you're looking to go into. So make sure you're reading through them and look at what your bigger plan is, and make sure that that email marketing plan fits into it and stuff. If you have problems with that and you don't really know how to evaluate what you need or which one will work best for you, contact us. There's always a way to reach out. Down below, you can schedule an appointment with us. There's a free complimentary, and we would be happy to discuss this with you and find out and get you started. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next podcast.